Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, and something a little bit out of the box for me, something a little bit different. This is the original Transformers Beast Wars Ultra Class Optimus Primal. I know, truck, not monkey, the old debate. And if we were talking about Optimus Prime, hey, I would be on board with that. But this, of course, is a totally different character, and I don't know, do we call him G1? I know that a lot of people would debate that and say, no, he's not G1, Beast Wars wasn't G1. But let's not kid ourselves. In the grand scheme of things, really Beast Wars, and I guess technically Beast Machines, are a part of that continuity. I don't want to give any spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen the whole series, though I find that, I'm not going to say unimaginable, because I know someone right now who's watching the series, but if you haven't checked it out, it's a good series, really worth checking out. And this was a good toy, and I know the other thing you're thinking, why are you looking at this? Why don't you look at the Masterpiece version? Well, I'll get into that, and I'll get into this guy, and everything to do with him in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, check out Machinery of Man to Everything Factor, have a look at Universal Collision, and anything else on the channel that might catch your interest, and check me out everywhere. Okay, so I never really thought I would ever particularly look at this guy. Beast Wars hasn't really been my thing. It's a little bit outside of the G1 norm. Certainly outside of the chug norm that I'm used to looking at, but I do have to admit that there are certain linkages to that original series that I appreciate, and there are things about this show that I certainly appreciate. And I thought about getting the Masterpiece Optimus Primal, and there's no doubt that is a fantastic toy. It is a 10 for paint. It is a 9 or a 10. I'm going to say a 10 for articulation. And the transformation is probably a 10. I mean, that is a masterpiece that is probably well worth being a masterpiece, which is why I considered it. But, let's put it in perspective. That is $119 from what I've seen. And that's American price. You throw shipping on top of it. You're looking at, I guess, a good $140 figure, American. By the time you translate that to Canadian, he's close on $200. That's an awful big investment. And, I got a trip to get. I got a family to support. This guy, I was able to get secondhand for $30 shipped, Canadian. Now, granted, you see me holding on to him. There's a couple of things I should note. One, he didn't come with his mace or his swords. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate, but not detrimental to me. The other thing that is a little bit of a detriment is that in ape mode, there are panels back right here that should flip down and peg in along right here. He doesn't have those, which means his shoulder cannons are always up. A bit unfortunate. Not, like I said, not detrimental. This guy has been customized. We'll see more of that in robot mode. But this is basically the way he would come in a package. Of course, these would be down. I can't put them down unless I can somehow, some way manage to score a couple of those panels that I'm missing. At a package he's like this, so you would basically put the arms forward, do that, bend up the legs, and for all intents and purposes, you would put him down on all fours like this. It's just the way that his ape mode goes. And of course, back right here would be covered over by those panels, or they'd be folded out, I guess underneath right here. Hopefully one day I will get those and be able to fix it. But it's a fine, it's a fine mode. There's nothing wrong with it. You can stand them up if you want. put these down. A lot of people will complain about the face. You can sort of break the sculpt a little bit around the head to have it face forward. And let me try and make this a little more natural-ish here. And you can do something along those lines where he does stand up. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. The colors are a little bit off here from the animation. Of course, we know that now from the masterpiece Optimus Primal, but hey, I still dig it. Articulation in this mode is pretty good. You know, you have the head that I guess technically the face can move a little bit. The shoulders can go all the way around. The arms have a 90-degree elbow bend. There's a bicep swivel. Nothing at the wrist. That being said, there's a button on his back that, you know, makes his arms move like that. But if you don't want to use that, you can hold onto both arms and they kind of ratchet there. So you don't really need to use that gimmick. The legs can go backward, they can go forward. Reverse bend at the knee because of the way the transformation works. The toes can tilt. So there's actually a lot that this guy can do, which I think is impressive for the time, because you got to remember, we were coming off of the G1, G2 era, and this was the first time that we really got Transformers that were, we'll say, superposable. And wow, what a difference it made, even for the time. Now, I said I did custom paint work on this guy. In this mode, all that you can really see that would be custom is that the band here around his, I guess around his elbow, should be light gray. I have painted black. And his inner arm should just be white. I have that painted black. And that's about all you can see that I've got done in this mode. I'm going to save my scores. We're going to do the transformation, talk about it in robot mode, and then I'll give my scores for everything. But I kind of dig it. Like I said, it's too bad that those things are out. Hopefully I can find a way to put them back. But I mean, if they were back, you know, he would look like that. And I think that that's pretty passable. I think that that's pretty okay. Now, the transformation, super easy. That's the other thing. You come here, and there's a little rectangular section here on the back of the arm that goes over a little like nubbin here on the back. You just lift it out and bring up the shoulder piece. Same over here, bring up the shoulder piece. You come to the waist and you turn it around. Nothing challenging yet. You take the toes and fold them in, and it looks like smaller toes come out, but I guess it's a heel spur. Fold those toes the same way. Come down here and you fold down the foot. You fold down the foot. And now he can stand up. And you come up here and you pull the whole headpiece off. Turn the gorilla head around. Bring it down into the chest. Bring his head forward a little bit, and there you go. That's it. Optimus Primal in his robot mode. Like I said, he wasn't 100%. I took off the silly mutant mask thing from the back of his head. I thought that was ridiculous. I know that they all came with it originally. I didn't like it there, so I removed it. It affects nothing. You're supposed to be able to open the arm, and his mace would be in here, so you can take his mace out and give it to him. And his two swords are just cast in blue. They look cool. He would just hold them in his hand. I don't know if he used them in the program or not. I don't remember. But I'm not a big fan of melee weapons. That's why I really didn't care that they weren't included with them. I would never use them anyway for display purposes or otherwise. If somebody likes melee weapons, hey, more power to you. There are blue missiles that go up here. I've removed them because I just don't want them. And if we open up this forearm over here, of course he has a blaster in there, and you could put those, there are little missiles that go in there. Again, I don't want them in there. But I'm okay with that being his blaster. I don't need the swords, I don't need the mace. I'm cool with that. And of course you could just flip that, because this flips out when you open it, right? That flips out. So you just flip that back in, bring his arm up, and close it up. I mean, the playability on this guy is really second to none. Really, really second to none. Okay, so as simple as all that is, and I know I kind of glossed over some stuff because, like I said, he's not 100% complete. But I still think because he is totally functional, he was well worth $30. I painted the inside of the arms black. I painted the red circle on his arm, that was just white. I painted around the kind of elbow here black, that was a gray color. And his feet were white, and I love I guess the detail of the hydraulic in his ankle. That was red, the foot was white. I colored all of it, kind of a gunmetal gray. On his chest, of course, this is a very different looking chest piece than what we're used to seeing. On his chest, I filled in blue on the two sides and down underneath, that was red. And I'm going to say this, I know that the guy has a mouth, but there was one or two times when he actually had his battle mask close over his face, and I got chills. I thought that was so cool. I always liked the look of the battle mask more. To me, that just screams a Prime, that screams Optimus. So I'm glad that he has that head sculpt. I also painted the crest up here gray because that was originally blue. In subsequent releases, of course, the head got remolded, that got painted gray, certain paint apps got changed, whatnot, but in the original release, that was stuff that I felt like had to go touched up. Now, just to kind of get a sense of his size, here he is with Generations Rat Trap, Deluxe Class Rat Trap, and I kind of think that works, to be honest with you. Here he is with Rhinox, and I know Rhinox should be bigger, but I don't know. I'm okay with, Big Bot being the biggest. So here he is with Rhinox, and he was an Ultra Class. I would say an Ultra Class was basically a big Voyager, or some might say it's a small leader. Now, I looked at Rat Trap in full way back in episode 189. I looked at Rhinox in full in episode 192, and just taking them out of it to give, another kind of scale size comparison here. Here he is with Leader Class Quick Switch, which is of course the 6-shot mold. And I looked at Quick Switch along with the whole Chaos on Velocitron set in episode 275. So this Ultra Class was either a small leader or a big Voyager, is the way I would kind of categorize it. Paint apps. Okay, I think fresh out of package, his paint apps were about a 7. Maybe a 7.5. Like, you knew it was Optimus Primal, even though it was slightly off from the animation. And understandably so. Now with the touch-ups I did, I think it's safe to say it's an 8.5. It's an 8.5 because I can really see the argument for the head being a darker blue, for having the face plate, and of course for the chest being really totally different. So I'm going to say 8.5. Transformation, super simple. If you don't like super simple, this isn't the guy for you. I do like simple transformations. And Rhinox and Rat Trap are challenging transformations. But even the Masterpiece version of this guy isn't an overly complex transformation. There's only so much you can do to go from, ape to robot. I would say that's a 10. I would say his transformation, just like the Masterpiece transformation, I would say both of them are 10 in their own way. Posability, playability, well, that being said, the head can go left and right and kind of look up and down. The arms ratchet out can go all the way around. Bicep swivel, 90 degrees at the elbow. Waist swivel, legs forward, legs back, knee to 90 degrees. We even have the toe tilt up. We have a heel spur that tilts. There is no thigh swivel. That's about the only thing that this guy is missing. And even there's a thigh wiggle, but there's no dedicated thigh swivel. That's the one weakness that he has, and that's really the only articulation weakness the guy has. I'm going to give his articulation a solid 9.5. It was and is a great figure. Even in the aftermarket, I find that most often when I see this guy, he's a good $59, somewhere between $59 and $159 American. Usually the going rate I see is about 70 or 75 Canadian. I got him shipped for 30 bucks, and yeah, I know that he's not quite 100%, but wow, is he still functional, and he can certainly stand in for now as my maximal leader, and I think that that's really cool. If you can afford, if you have the scratch and you can afford the Masterpiece Optimus Primal, then yeah, I would say get that thing, because, you know, why not? It looks absolutely stellar, and it's a great toy. And if you've watched my channel for any length of time, you know that I am not that easy on masterpieces. I expect a lot out of those guys. But if you're on more of a budget, this may be a great option for you, or some version of it, if you can find the right deal, which I happen to. I kind of dedicate this episode to the guys over at Transformers and Beer. Em and Joe, great friends of the channel, and they've been, you know, every Friday when their show goes up, they've been going through season 1 of Beast Wars and watching the episodes and giving their commentary on them. And it's kind of fun to relive the series through those fresh eyes, especially Em's, because I don't think he's ever seen the series. I hope he sticks with it. There are certain boring parts and boring episodes, but the overall story arcs that you get are really well written. It was a show that was very sophisticated for the time. And you know what? After the era of G1 toys, the toys were very sophisticated for the time. We're a good 20 years later from the original series, and this guy still really stands up as a viable option and as a great fun figure. Overall score for this guy, he's a solid 9. I'm so glad to have him on my shelf. And hey, if you got him, hopefully you're happy with him too. Let me know what you guys think of him. And let me know what you think of the couple of apps that I threw in there. I guess that's about it. You know that I appreciate you dropping by, giving me some of your valuable time. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together for another visit right here inside the video.